So I shared a tweet recently about how important it was for every single one of us, whether we are a lawyer, an entrepreneur, an employee at a company, a ceramicist, a painter, a coder, an actor, all of us, every single one of us, particularly in this modern age where it's kind of every man for himself, really, isn't it? Like we've really seen over the last couple of years, the last year particularly, how we can't rely on the government, we can't rely on society to get us what we want and provide for us. We need to ultimately take responsibility and create our own security, our own success. And so every one of us, did I even say the word yet? We need to be good at selling, and not only just good, but we need to master it. We need to find a way to enjoy it and develop mastery in it so that it becomes something that is not just a kind of additional thing that we tack on to what it is we do, whatever it is that we're creating, and we kind of grudgingly add it on. It's something that we incorporate into everything that we do, and we understand the value of it, and we get it, and we become great at it, and we continually commit to everyday mastery at selling. So that was a tweet that did pretty well. People obviously get the importance of it, and it's more and more relevant right now, is just understanding, depending on whatever craft you're currently working on, whatever field you're in, whatever type of job you have, you'll need to figure out what your version of mastering sales is, because sales kind of varies a little bit from person to person. At its core, sales is the same, but you're going to have to, like for me, learning how to sell my coaching and my training and my workshops is a little bit different to how a dentist, for example, might sell his or her services. So you're going to need to find what applies to you. And by the way, if you haven't followed me yet on Twitter, make sure you're subscribed to my handle, which is I am Alex Mathers on Twitter. I really, if you want to get hold of nice, short everyday snippets, I'll share several short little texts and writings to motivate and help you guys over there. So definitely worth a follow. I am Alex Mathers. And yeah, people are getting it. People are seeing the value in needing to understand and really get sales. So I know that I haven't got too long in this video. Do like this or comment below if you want to hear more about selling and how I sell and how I've started to find a way to love it rather than to hate it. And that's the key thing. I think a lot of us, we grow up and we are societally programmed by parents, families, schools, friends, that selling is somehow a bad thing, a negative thing, something that we don't want to talk about too much. We want to kind of hide behind and not brag about. Also money as well. Anything that looks like deliberately going out into the world and bringing more money into your life is, and has been for many of us, kind of frowned upon and not something to speak about. So of course we end up lagging behind on developing our skills in those kinds of things, even though being able to persuade other human beings of the value in what you do and to ultimately exchange financial currency for those skills and services and products and art, it's so vital. Because as you've seen, especially if you're running things on your own or you've got a team or whatever and you're in charge, you don't survive if you don't understand how to get someone to support your ideas. And it might not be in financial terms, it might just be in believing in your product and supporting you and following your advice. I mean, every step of the day is ultimately a kind of a form of sales. I mean, just me speaking on this video is kind of me selling myself. So there's a lot to selling, but I think one of the big aspects in becoming more positive around sales is knowing how we've been kind of weighed down over the years in our programming around what sales means and how negatively associated how many negative associations we have with the idea of selling. And what's really helped me over the years is firstly realizing that society, for whatever reason, kind of instills a pessimism around sales and being good at sales. We associate selling with, the used car salesman and manipulativeness, and we've seen lots of people get burned by dodgy salesmen over the years, and we've seen, dodgy tactics in selling, and that's obviously tarnished the industry to a degree. But what I really want to get to the heart of is the understanding and the idea that selling is not just for salespeople. It isn't just for sort of slick, people in suits who walk around kind of smooth talking and all that kind of stuff. We need to see sales as being part of our life skills portfolio, and not just seeing sales as an option. Seeing sales as, it'd be good to understand a little bit of it, and so we can sell our art, but actually to really flip our perspective so that we see selling as something to get really good at, because that's really one of the big secrets for me. One of the big things that's really helped me is taking a good look at all the things that I struggled with over the years, all the things that I felt a lot of resistance around, money, selling, that kind of stuff. And I see it a lot in you guys, struggling with the idea of, taking a product, taking your passion, taking your services, taking your coaching, whatever it is, and translating that into impact, translating it into people believing in you, translating it into trust, and eventually a sale and money and income and sustenance. It's really difficult. And so I've looked at that and I've seen how difficult it is and how vital it is when I get it right. When I get a sale through, and when I can, I see the growth in my confidence when I can find a way to market my skills and see it actually come to fruition and make money from it on my own back, which I've been doing for a decade plus. I realize that you are at such a massive advantage when you understand the value of sales in your life, and you get the power of selling, but also B, when you can commit to and really see growth in your ability to sell at a higher level. Imagine you can get to a level where when you find sales easy and you find it smooth and people listen to you and you can develop trust in people quickly, and it's basically like learning how to fish if you're sitting on an island. Selling is really a tool, an avenue, a door that opens up to so much opportunity, not only survival, but real impact at a big scale. And so when I can't fit it all into a 10-minute long video, because sales is made, I guess you could argue that sales is comprised of marketing and advertising and persuasion and negotiation and deal making and all that stuff. But it is a science, and it is a skill, and it is a field in itself. But a lot of us separate all of that stuff from the creation side of things, and products and art and apps. But I would like to just use this to remind us all of how valid it is, how important it is to be good at selling and to commit to mastering sales, and to find a way to love it. Because when we start committing to mastery, anything can become enjoyable. Think about it. If I never even think of earthworms, but if I was to tonight decide to commit to be a master at earthworms and understanding what happens under the ground when worms move through it, and how good it is for the soil and how important it is for the climate and the environment, you start to fall in love with things when you start getting better and you start honing skills and you start getting better at it. So of all the skills that you could learn and that you could get really good at, you might as well make it sales, because sales is life. Sales makes the world go round. And if you can be one of the few to find a way to really get it and to fall in love with it, you are going to find things falling into your lap. You're going to find opportunities where a lot of people turn away from opportunities, and you're going to find life working better for you, because we are living, we have to get real, we have to get rational about the idea that we are living on an economic planet, and to be able to persuade and begin with developing relationships with people that then ultimately turn into clients and customers and lifelong supporters. That's so key. And if you can find a way to do it well, you're really at a huge advantage, especially in look at the world around you. We can't rely on the people around us. We can't rely on people giving stuff to us. We can't just sit there and create a product and wait for people to kind of beat a path to your door like was the case 200 years ago. You have to understand how to make an impact. You have to understand how to do this yourself. and we have to figure out how to be self-sufficient. Like, self-sufficiency is a big one, and sales is a crucial element of self-sufficiency. So, you know, in all the videos that I've done on things like location independence and developing your own freelance business and being self-employed and being self-reliant, sales plays a big role in all of that. So we need to start, you know, breaking down. If you have a really strong aversion to the idea of sales, I know what it feels like. I say sales and it sounds ugh to many, but you got to find a way to fall in love with it. So let me just close off this video by sharing the idea that's helped me a lot to kind of start taking steps towards not only dealing with selling and needing to do it, but falling in love with it. A lot of us associate taking money from people and sales as a greedy thing, as a manipulative thing, as a way of persuading someone to fall for the scam of your product, and you then feeling bad, you know, kind of like you've lost a piece of your soul because someone's bought from you. It's one way of seeing it. The other way of seeing it is to see money just as a tool, as a, you know, it's a unit of exchange. That's simply all it is. There's nothing evil about it. But also to see that money, you know, sales made and money made as an indication of you making a difference in the world. That's been really helpful for me. So when I make money, I'm grateful and I'm thankful, because I can see it as an indication that I have created value for somebody, and I've changed the world in a small way that has been rewarded in the form of money that someone's been willing to hand over to me. And so just by seeing things in that respect, a kind of reverence to selling and a reverence to sales and an understanding of the good that sales reflects, if you do it right, you start to understand why people get addicted to doing more of it. And you start to see why you can see, you know, how people have been able to get good at sales and do it consistently and become a master at it, because you see it in a positive light. So that's what I'd encourage you guys to certainly start thinking about, is, you know, how can you bring a selling mastery into your life? How can you make it, how can you apply selling skill to whatever it is you do, whether it's persuading people to listen to your podcast, or selling products, or even working as a lawyer and creating new clients, whatever it is. Find a way to develop mastery in sales that applies to your area, and learn about things like negotiation, deal making, and advertising, and all that kind of stuff. Don't see it as separate to what you do. See it as something that you weave into what you do. So that's really all I've got for you guys. I know this went on a bit, but I think just in terms of where we're going in the world, we can't rely on other people and other companies and bosses and things to provide everything for us. We need certain skills, and I see selling as a crucial life skill moving ahead, in the same way that, you know, survival skills in the woods would have been a crucial life skill 3,000 years ago, and it's kind of becoming more of a life skill these days as well. But selling, see whether you can start turning your ideas on selling around and start bringing more of it into your life, and more of an understanding and a respect for it. That's all I got, guys. Make sure you are subscribed, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.